Hello and welcome, beautiful YouTube friends. My name is Lou. I am a yoga teacher and a strength and conditioning coach. And today I have a 45-minute slow flow practice for you. So if you've been practicing with me over the last couple of weeks, you'll know that we've been exploring the archetype of Sagittarius. And on a physical level, Sagittarius governs the lumbar spine, so the lower vertebrae of the spine, the pelvis and the sacrum, and also the femurs, so these thigh bones that sit inside your hip sockets and have this ability to move in a full 360. So we're going to be focusing on these areas of the body today, not only in a physical sense, but also in an energetic sense. So what the pelvis means, what it holds, and what that means for us on a subtle level. So if you have any props, I highly recommend grabbing hold of a block and also a bolster. You can do this practice without props, but I'll always recommend having props close by if you do have them. Alrighty, so let's get started. You're welcome to join me on your back, and we're going to come into a Supta Baddha Konasana, a reclined butterfly pose. And if you're using a bolster, just bring your bolster to the back of the sacrum, long ways to the length of the mat. Soles of the feet come together, and then the knees will splay out wide. If you're naturally quite open in the hip and you have some blocks or some cushions, you might even like to place them underneath your outer thighs. And then from here, just lowering down all the way onto your back. And as we take these first few moments, breaths to arrive in this space, I invite you to bring the hands onto your body. So either onto the belly, maybe up onto the lower ribs, or perhaps onto the hip space. Making this visceral connection with your own body is a really great way of grounding the nervous system. And one of the best ways to connect to your hips, but also to release through the hips, is by breathing fully. And it sounds really simple, but unfortunately with today's society, we have become habitually conditioned to breathe a little bit more shallow and up in the chest. So I'm going to guide us through a few rounds of Viloma breath, which is a full breath in, really expanding the entire capacity of the lungs and the diaphragm. And we're going to interrupt the inhalation on 3 separate occasions. So focusing on the belly, then on the chest, and then filling up all the way to the top to the collarbones. And then the exhale will just be one smooth, complete breath out. And I'll guide us through it. Whenever you're ready, let's take a breath in through the nose. And let it go through the nose or the mouth. Breathing in 1/3 into your belly. And pause. A second third into the chest. And pause. And a final third all the way up to the collarbones. And pause. And exhale smoothly and completely. At the bottom of the out breath, breathing into the belly. And pause. Breathing into the chest. And pause. Filling up all the way to the top. And pause. And exhale completely. Good. Breathing belly. And pause. Breathing chest. And pause. Breathing collarbones. And pause. And exhale completely. breathing belly, and pause, breathing chest, and pause, breathing collarbones, and pause, and exhale completely. And final round, breathing belly, and pause, breathing chest, pause, breathing collarbones, and pause, and exhale completely. And at the end of your out breath, just allow your breath to shift back into its natural pattern, its natural flow. And allow the breath to be really passive and soft here, so as though you're not even thinking of it. And let's tuck the chin down towards the chest. We're going to gently guide the head from side to side, so bringing the right ear across to the right shoulder. And then moving through center, left ear, left shoulder. Good, moving through center, over to the right. And through center, take it over to the left. And keeping the face, the jaw nice and soft, breathing spaciousness into the back of the neck. And then coming back through center. From here, we'll interlace the fingers. Push your palms up overhead, reaching your palms towards the front of your mat. Good. And then release the hands down beside the body. From here, just bringing the hands to the outer thighs or outer hips. And then draw the legs back in to the center. And you can either push up here using the hands and the forearms, or you can roll over to one side, but slowly make your way back up into a seat. And we're going to make our way into a tabletop position. So any bolsters, just move them to one side. And then if you're using a block, just place it somewhere near the front of the mat, meeting in a tabletop position. And from here, we'll just begin to move through the body, having a bit of a conversation with the spine, the hips, the shoulders, the wrists. Maybe you move through some cat-cow movements if that feels good. But really, I just invite you to move your body in any way that feels good. Remember what I said at the start of the class about your thigh bones sitting in your hip sockets. They have a capacity to move in this full 360 motion. So not only can we do this sort of forwards and backwards tilting, but we can move the pelvis in all directions, and we should be moving the pelvis in all directions. Nice. Okay. So come back into your tabletop. Let's bring the knees together. If you've got a block, place it down on your mat in front of you and squeeze your block in between your thumbs. Doesn't matter if you don't have one, you can do this without the block. We're going to do some scapular push-ups. It sounds a lot scarier than it is. So we're going to keep the elbows straight, spread the fingers. Really important that you bring intention into the fingers here. And from here, we're going to lower the chest towards the ground, keeping the elbows straight. So squeezing the shoulder blades or retracting the scapula. And then press the floor away, spreading the shoulder blades. So minimal movement through the elbows. It's all coming from the scapula, moving backwards and forwards. So let's lower the chest, breath in. Exhale, push it away. Good, let's go again, breathing in. Exhale, push. And we'll go a little bit faster to get the shoulders nice and warm. We'll go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Alrighty, place your block near the front of the mat. Let's spread the hands a little bit wider than shoulders width. Tuck under the toes. Downward facing dog. And this is the first down dog of the practice, so we'll spend a little bit of time here just pedaling out the feet, shifting the hips, the pelvis from side to side. Just going to sort my mic out, seems to be falling out of place. And as you find a bit of fluidity in your down dog, breathing into the lower back, into the backs of the legs, try not to forget about the hands here. So keep pressing down into your finger pads, bringing the shoulders up towards the ears as though you're pushing the floor away. And let's take 3 releasing breaths here, in through the nose and out through the mouth, breathing in and breathing out. Good, a big breath in and a breath out. 1 more breath in and a breath out. So good. Alrighty, let's ground into the right foot. As slowly as you can, take your left leg up to the sky. Slowly with control. And then once you reach the top, we'll bend this left knee. Draw some circles through this left side hip. But once again, moving nice and slowly here with control. Focusing on that slow articulation, drawing big circles. And then see if you can switch it up, go in the opposite direction. Beautiful. And then we'll place the left foot down beside the right. Come back to your downward facing dog. We're going to come up all the way onto the balls of the feet, up onto the toes. And then press your heart space back towards your thighs. Take a bend in the knees. And then we're going to walk the hands back towards the feet. Keep the feet lifted up onto the balls of the feet, or up onto the toes. And then from here, we're going to drop it down into a toe squat. Nice. A little bit wobbly here. Let's reach the arms out in front. We're going to open and close the hands into a fist for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Interlace the hands behind the back, squeeze the shoulders together, and then land the heels, begin to straighten into the legs as you fold. Maybe you find a sway from side to side through the hips, or bend into alternate knees. Nice. Okay, from here we're going to release the hands down, come back up onto the toes, soften your hips all the way down to the heels. We're going to place the hands down behind you, land all the way down onto your bum. Good work. Alrighty, left leg is going to lift, bringing the left ankle across the right knee. Now, if this feels a little bit too restrictive, you can extend that right leg out long. Otherwise, right leg is drawing in. And then you're going to circle through this left side ankle. So in this kind of seated pigeon or figure 4 stance. See if you can press forwards with the chest. Keep a nice long spine. Beautiful. And then we'll land that left foot down to the right side of the mat, setting up for Ardha Matsyendrasana, a little twist here. Right arm reaches behind you, back of that right elbow presses into the outside of the left leg. Let's take a breath in and a breath out. So good. Alrighty, coming back through center, place the hands behind you, come back into your figure 4 stance, unravel that left leg. We're going to come back up onto the toes. So walk the hands in, come all the way up into your toe squats. From here, we're going to walk the hands out into a downward facing dog. Stay up on the toes. Keeping the torso close to the thighs, hips nice and high. And then soften the heels down towards the mat. They don't need to touch, but just lowering the heels back down into your downward facing dog. Good work. Alrighty, let's slowly take the right leg up to the sky. And then once again, we'll bend this top knee, flex the foot, draw some circles, slow and steady through that right side. As slowly as you can. Keep anchoring through that left side shoulder. Try not to collapse too much into that left side. Good, and then we'll land that right foot down, come up onto the balls of the feet, soften the heart space back towards the thighs, big bend in the knees. And then we walk the hands all the way back, dropping it down into your toe squat. From here, let's reach the arms out in front. Make a fist with the hands and we'll flex and extend for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Interlace the hands behind the back. Pull the heart space forwards. And then from here, we soften the heels down as we straighten the legs into our fold. And let the head go here. Find a sway from side to side. So good. Alrighty, release the hands down, come back up onto the balls of the feet. Soften your hips towards your heels, come all the way down. From here, hands come behind you as you lower back down into your seat. Good work. Alrighty, from here, we're gonna pick up the right leg, bring the right ankle across that left knee. Option to extend the left leg out long if it feels a little bit too compressive for that right hip. And we're going to circle through the right side ankle. And see if you can keep the chest, the sternum lifted, pulling forwards. Nice. And then we'll take this right leg over to the left this time, landing in your twist Ardha Matsyendrasana. Right arm reaches behind you, left elbow hooks onto the back of that right leg. Beautiful. And then slowly release. Let's press back up into our figure 4 position. Unravel the legs, bringing the heels in nice and close to the sit bones as you walk your hands in nice and close. Come all the way up onto the balls of the feet, coming back into your toe squat position. Staying on the toes, we're going to walk the hands out, torso to the thighs. Good. And then we'll soften the heels down, downward facing dog. Good work. Alrighty, let's take the left leg up to the sky. And then roll forwards, big step through between the hands. Let's soften the back knee down here. Fingertips to the earth or to your blocks. We're going to shift the hips all the way back into an Ardha Hanumanasana half split. And we're going to floss here through the femoral and sciatic nerve. So usually we'd aim to keep a relatively straight spine in this pose. But for the sake of what we're doing, I'm going to ask you to round your spine and tuck your chin. So left leg is straight, big curve through the spine, shifting that left hip back. Good, and then we roll forwards, lower the hips towards the ground, torso to the thigh, gaze up. Beautiful, shift it all the way back, round the spine, breath in. Exhale, roll forwards, gaze up. Let's go one more time, breathing in as we round. And Breathing out as you come forwards. Let's gaze towards the front of the mat. Plant the hands, pick up that back knee. Twisted lunge, unraveling the left arm up towards the sky. From here, maybe you begin to shift your hips back, straightening into your front left leg in this sort of wide, revolved pyramid pose. Breathing into the back of that left side hamstring. So good. Alrighty, let's sweep this left arm back and around. Come forwards through your low lunge. We're going to press off into a supported warrior 3. So if you're using blocks here, hands come to your blocks, otherwise fingertips come to the ground. Level off your pelvis so that your toes are facing down and your head is lifted so the neck is in line with the spine. Lots to think about here in this pose. Alrighty, let's draw the right knee into the right armpit, round the spine. Exhale, press back through your right heel. Let's go again, breathe it in. Exhale, push it back. One more time, breathing in. And push it back. From here, we take a big step back with this right leg. Bring your block with you if you have one. Coming into Prasarita Padottanasana, wide leg folds. From here, we take a twist. We're going to walk the hands over to the left foot. Doesn't matter if you can't quite reach, but deliberately rounding the right side of the spine. So creating as much space here through this right side body as you press back into that right hip. And drop the head, let the head go. So good. Lift the chest. Let's walk the hands all the way to the other side, towards that right foot. And once again, pressing back into that left hip. Big curve through the left side of the spine as you drop the head. And then coming back through center. From here, we'll pivot the feet out, bend the knees as you drop it down into a goddess pose, Utkatta Konasana. From here, we'll bring the hands behind the head, turn your right leg in. So internally rotating that right hip, and then we'll dip that right knee towards the ground. Come back to your goddess. Left leg turns in, dip the knee down. Come back to your goddess. Let's go again. Right knee turns in, dip it down, and come back. Building a bit of fire. Left leg turns in, dip it down, and come back. Good work. From here, we straighten the legs, reach the arms up. Interlace the hands behind the back as you pull your rib cage forwards. Exhale, we fold. We're going to hold halfway, squeezing the shoulders as you lift. Spreading the front of the chest, the front of the rib cage. Let's hold here for one more steady breath. Outer edges of the feet are grounding. And then slowly release the hands to your block or to the ground as we make our way to the back of the mat, framing the right foot. So good. From here, we're going to come onto the blade edge of the back foot, coming into extended side angle. Option to bring a block to the inside of your right leg, or you can bring elbow to the knee. Reaching this left arm up and over. Good. Maybe from here you begin to straighten into that front leg once again. See if you can create a big C curve through the left side of the spine. Nice. Alrighty, let's bend into that front knee once again. We're going to come all the way up to stalk pose. Come onto the ball of the back foot. Press forwards, left knee to the chest. If you've got a block, you're going to bring your block to the outside of your left knee, or you're going to use your hand here as feedback. Now we're going to externally rotate this left side hip, and I'm going to show you front on so that you can see. Keeping the knee in line with your hip socket, you're going to turn your left foot across to the right side of the mat. So we're not moving the leg in and out, we're just rotating, like I said, the femur, this thigh bone, inside the hip. Let's go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Place your left foot down. Lower the block to the ground if you've got one. We're going to bend the knees, hinge the hips, Utkatasana, chair pose. From here, let's bring the hands onto the hips. We're going to draw circles through the pelvis. See if you can really isolate the pelvis here. So grounding through the lower part of the body. And seeing if you can move your pelvic bowl in all directions. Let's switch it up and go the opposite way. Beautiful. Alrighty, interlace the hands behind the back. Pull the heart space forwards. Exhale, we fold. Let's take a big breath in. And then release the breath through the mouth. Release the hands to the earth. Take a big step back. Downward facing dog. We're going to take 3 or 4 steady breaths here. Option to move through a flow, a vinyasa, maybe a couple of rounds of cat-cow if that feels good. Or you can just hold with me in downward facing dog or a child's pose. We're coming back to the steadiness of your breath. Okay. And so if you're not currently in a downward facing dog, I'll ask that you make your way back into the shape now. And we'll take the right leg up to the sky. Big breath in. Exhale, roll forwards and step between the hands. Soften the back knee down once again, coming all the way back into your half Hanuman, Ardha Hanumanasana. From here we floss. Let's round the spine, tuck the chin, spread the shoulders. Exhale, roll forward, sink the hips, gaze up. Good, shift it all the way back, round the spine. Roll forwards, gaze up. Let's move backwards and forwards here with the breath, breathing in and breathing out. 2 more times, breathing in and breathing out. So good. 1 more time, breath in and breath out. Let's gaze towards that front foot, plant the hands, lift that back knee up, find your twisted lunge, right arm unravels towards the sky. Maybe you shift your hips back slightly, straightening into that front leg, into your revolved Parshvattanasana pyramid pose. Staying on that back ball of the foot, creating a little bit more length and space through the pelvis. Nice, and then we'll sweep this arm, right arm back and around as we press forwards once again, coming into your supported warrior 3. So good. Let's make sure the toes are facing down, nice level pelvis, and then once again lifting the head so the neck is in line with the spine. From here, let's draw the left knee to the left elbow, breath in, exhale, take it back. Once again, breathing in and take it back. 1 more time, breathing in and take it back. Big step back here. Bring your block with you if you've got it. Lowering into your fold, Prasarita Padottanasana. Grounding into the blade edges of the feet. Let's take the hands over to the right this time. Big curve through the left side of the spine as you drop the heads. slow, steady breaths. And then walking the hands all the way over to the other side, to the left, pressing back into your right hip. Keep grounding into the blade edges of the feet. Beautiful, coming back up through center. Let's pivot the feet out slightly, bend the knees as you drop it down into your goddess pose, Utthata Konasana. So good. Alrighty, from here we're going to dip the right knee down, come back through center, dip the left knee, come back through center. So good. One more time each way. Dip the right leg, bring it back, dip the left, and bring it back. Good work. Let's sweep the arms up, straighten the legs. Exhale, we fold. We're going to walk the hands to the front of the mat, framing the left foot, coming into your extended side angle. So turning onto the blade edge of your back foot, bringing it parallel to the end of the mat. Left hand comes to a block, or the elbow can come to the outside edge of the knee. Reaching your right fingertips towards the front of the mat. Maybe from here you begin to straighten into that front leg and then create a big C curve through the right side of the spine. Good, let's hold here for one more steady breath. And then slowly coming back through center, bend into your front knee, come onto the come onto the ball of the back foot, press forwards, bringing your block with you if you've got it, stalk pose, right knee to the chest. Right hand or block comes to the outer edge of that right knee. This time we bring the right foot across to the left side of the mat, externally rotating the hip. Once again, without moving that leg in and out, so keeping the knee in line with the hip. Let's go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Place your right foot down. Place your block down if you've got it. Bend the knees, hinge the hips. Utkatasana. Nice and deep in your chair, bringing awareness into your core, letting your pelvis sit in its natural position. So we're not tucking the tailbone, but we're not sort of sticking the bum out either. So finding your happy neutral so that your glutes are engaged and working. Hands come to the hips and we circle. And I know it seems a little bit funny if you haven't done movements like this in yoga before, but it's so good. Like I said, for building mobility, strength, strengthening those neural pathways so that movement just becomes easier. Nice. Alrighty, let's interlace the hands behind the back, spread the chest. Exhale, soften into your folds. Softening into the breath. Completely release the back of the head and the neck. Beautiful. Let's float the hands down just in front of you, shoulders width apart. Take a big step back, downward facing dog. Okay, let's take the left leg up to the sky. This time we roll forwards, placing the left knee down behind the left wrist, setting up for half pigeon, Raja Kapotasana. Option to come onto your back, bringing your left ankle on top of your right knee. And from here, just settling down into your pigeon, either holding in an active variation of the shape, if that feels good for the hips, or you can fold forwards into more of a passive stretch. And beginning to consciously slow the breath down. Let's take another 3 steady breaths. Okay, and so if you're on your back, if you could make your way up into a seat. If you're folding forward, slowly walk the hands back up. We're going to roll onto this left hip so that you're facing the length of the mat. Right leg is extended, left leg is bent in. Rotate your torso towards the back of the mat, coming into Janu Shirshasana, so sole of the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. We're going to do 5 little leg lifts here with this right leg. Even if your leg only lifts a millimeter, a centimeter from the ground, that is perfect. That's exactly where you need to be. That's exactly what you need to be doing in order to strengthen, like I said, those neural pathways. It's not about how high you can get the leg. It's purely just about thinking and bringing intention into that movement. So let's do 5 little lifts whenever you're ready. Try to stay forwards on the sit bones. Let's go for 1 and lower, 2, lower, 3, lower, and 4, lower, and 5, lower. Good work. Pick up that right leg, swing it all the way around, place it on top of your left leg, setting up for Gomukhasana shoelace pose. If you have any sacroiliac pain, option to unravel the legs and bring the soles of the feet together into a Baddha Konasana. And you can either bring the hands onto the ankles or press your hands into your feet. I like to use my thumb against the center of the sole of the foot. We've got a really great acupressure point here for the kidneys. So if we think about that lower back lumbar region, that area is very close to the kidneys, so it's all closely linked. And stimulating these meridian lines can bring a boost or flow of chi throughout the body. Let's take another 3 steady breaths. Awesome. Okay, so let's take a twist to the left. Hands can reach out beside you, or you can come down onto the forearms. Whatever feels good here, but just breathing into that right side outer hip, all the way into the right side lower back. Beautiful. And then lifting all the way back up. From here, we'll unravel the legs, take it over to the other side. You can either just pick up the legs and quite literally unravel them. If you want to do something a little bit fun or a little bit silly, you're going to place the hands down to the left, ground into your feet. As you pick up the hips, move around in a circle and then sit back down with the opposite leg on top. I know, absolutely mind-blowing. Alrighty, let's take a twist first over to the right, reaching the arms forwards or coming down to the forearms. Breathing into that left side, outer glute, hip, lower back. And lifting all the way back up. Settling here into your shoelace pose, Gomukhasana, grounding through the sit bones, nice tall spine. So good. Alrighty, let's use the hands now to unravel this left leg. You're facing the front of the mat once again, sole of the right foot to the inside of that left thigh. Let's do those 5 little leg lifts, keeping this left leg nice and active. We'll lift and release and lift and release. 3 and release. 4 and release. 5 and release. Good work. Spinning to the back of the mat now, framing this right leg, setting up for right side half pigeon. Once again, option to come onto your back. Right ankle over the left knee and softening down into the shape. Okay. And so if you're on your back this time, you're more than welcome to stay where you are. Just unravel the legs. Otherwise, slowly lifting back up. Let's roll onto the right hip. Swing the left leg all the way around. You're facing the back of the mat now. Feet at hips width, legs in an A-frame. We're going to slowly roll our way down onto our backs. Try not to hold the breath. And once you reach the bottom, either keeping the knees bent in or you can extend the legs out long. Maybe you meet back in a Baddha Konasana with the soles of the feet together once again. Just choosing what feels best for your body. And as we settle into our Shavasana, I invite you to bring your hands back onto your body, either onto the belly, onto the hips. And as you bring your awareness back into this area of the body, I invite you to think of one thing that you are looking to birth and create in this world. And the pelvis, the sacrum, is an area of the body that is known as being the seat of all creation. And everything that we birth in the world, not just on a physical level, but also on a spiritual, emotional, mental level, your visions, your creations, your dreams. And I invite you here in these last few moments, really just to linger in that space of thinking of what it is that you're looking to bring into the world, create. And this is where I am going to leave you today, my friends. So I really invite you to stay here for as long as you need. Take this time. Before I leave you, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the traditional roots of yoga, the ancient teachings, and the various lineages that have passed down this sacred wisdom. I'd also like to acknowledge the land that I am teaching from, the land of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. And thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope that you enjoyed the practice. Take care, and I'll see you again very soon.